Kalispera, good evening. Thank you for coming to today's AGORA talk. It's an honor, and we're very excited about this new segment in AGORA, the new initiative Bridge to the North. And we're very happy that the inauguration is happening with Lithuania, a country that we feel close to, although we don't usually collaborate with each other. So we're aiming to change that. Bridge to the North aims to create the space for financial collaborations and cultural exchanges. And we are hosted here at the museum, at the Momus Thessaloniki Museum of Photography, and we thank them for this wonderful space. And I will pass the mic to Yorgos Tsourgiannis, our moderator today, producer and founder of Horsefly Productions in Greece.
Thank you, Angeliki. Hello, everyone, and welcome. And many thanks to Thessaloniki Film Festival and AGORA for creating this. This is indeed a great initiative for creating the space to be able to discuss and explore and foster the possibility of new collaborations. Well, the idea of today's talk, as you might have guessed from the title, is to explore co-production opportunities with Lithuania and Greece. So allow me no further delay. Allow me to introduce our esteemed panelists. So to my left, Marija Razgutė, Lithuanian producer, established. Laimonas Ubavičius, the CEO of the Lithuanian Film Center. And Athena Kartalou, the managing director of the Greek Film Center. So the idea is, first of all, to have a presentation of the different funding opportunities offered by the Lithuanian Film Center and about the Greek Film Center, for which Laimonas and Athena, respectively, are going to give us some brief presentation of the tools available to co-produce. And then with Marija, we would delve a little bit more hands-on into the practical aspect of co-producing, and Marija will be sharing some case studies with us. We're going to have a conversation followed up from questions from the audience that might arise during the presentation. So shall we kick it off? We have quite a lot to cover. Shall we? Laimonas, you start.
Yes, thanks a lot. And probably before starting with my presentation, I just wanted to express how grateful we are being invited there. So huge gratitude to the festival and for the organizers of AGORA. We're having a delegation. We are coming more of 10 of Lithuanian colleagues from the film industry there. So hopefully our small talk there would result, in our further cooperation and in the projects we could have for the, co-production projects, which will run in a really practical manner. And yes, now I will turn into my short presentation with about the Lithuanian Film Center, about the financial possibilities we have, and to focus more about the co-production financial possibilities. So the Lithuanian Film Center, we've been established more than 10 years ago, and we are a state public administration institution under the Ministry of Culture. Just for your understanding about the budget we operate, the annual budget of the Lithuanian Film Center, as for this year, it's approximately 8.3 million. And of this money, more than 7 million are allocated for the projects financed on the selective schemes we run and we have. So the Lithuanian Film Center finances on an application basis and according to expert assessment the film development and the production, and this is the most substantial part of the financing we distribute. The film promotion abroad, also dissemination of film culture projects, including the film festivals. We have the 3 biggest film festivals which are running every year. We also finance the film distribution, the national film distribution. And we also issue grants, individual, educational, and also for recent 2 years, grants for Ukrainian film creators who came to Lithuania during the war. As our duties and the functions are also to take care of film education, we also collect the film statistics and issue age rating label for films shown in cinemas in Lithuania, and we also take care of film heritage. Lithuanian Film Center also administrates film tax incentive, and I will come back to it later.
Tax incentive later.
Yes, I will explain probably in more detail how it is in Lithuania. So film funding, we finance the film development and production of the national films, as well as co-productions, including minority co-production. Debut films are also eligible for support, and it is up to 50% of estimated maximum financing amount for every specific category. I will show it later on the financing limits.
So when a film is a debut, it is eligible for 50% of the maximum category funding. Okay.
So the nature of funding, we have selective schemes. We have 2 calls per year, in spring and in autumn. And the spring, autumn, in practice, it came like that this is a smaller call with a smaller amount of money to be distributed. And the bigger call is in autumn, and we are still an autumn call open. So if the colleagues would find and agree on the project there with the colleagues from Greece, still this week, it's still appropriate to send us an application. The applicant must be a Lithuanian producer. I mean the producer, the Lithuanian production company. The main selection criteria, and these are all in principle for the production. This is a quality and originality of the project, the directors and producers' track record, and the financial aspects, foreseen within the application. We support various categories, starting from feature-length, short, TV dramas, fiction, documentaries, animation, or interactive films. Let's start with some details about the majority co-production schemes, the co-production of full-length short film or film series. We also finance, just to point it out, film series with a Lithuanian majority producer. Financing by Lithuanian Film Center intensity is up to 60% of film budget, or up to 75% of difficult film budget. So in our understanding, or to the notion we have, the difficult film is a film in Lithuanian language, or the film with a limited commercial capacity, which means also the distribution and so on. So mostly we consider that we are getting the applications that when it comes to the film in Lithuanian language to have it like a
kind of means automatically that it is difficult.
Yes, yeah.
Audiovisual.
So you see the numbers. I will not mention them all, but to say that as for the biggest categories, the production of feature animation, production of animation series, and also for full-length feature film, it's up to 800,000. So here are also the numbers. Just to mention that we also have a category of a high budget film. It's of financing up to 1.5 million, but this autumn call we haven't announced that call because of we see of a big competition within the projects coming and of limited financial resources we have. So we haven't announced this autumn that high budget film category.
Meaning, Laimonas, that you're getting too many high budget film applications, or that your resources are not enough to cover the total amount of applications that you're getting?
The competition between other categories, it's really intense,
Yeah.
And if having announced that, and with the goal, let's say, to choose at least one project in that category, it would limit substantially, you know, the number of other projects we could finance. So that was the main reason. So just also one of the things to mention, that not more than 20% of state funding allocated to film project must be maybe used outside Lithuania. So minority co-production scheme, what are the requirements there? So co-production of a preliminary agreement that complies with the provisions of the European Convention must be met there. And the production companies must deliver substantial information confirming that the financing for production, which makes no less than 50% of the whole budget, has already been committed. And 95% of the financial grant should be spent in Lithuania. So there's a possibility of 5% to be spent outside Lithuania. And when providing the documents together with the application, a script or script treatment should be provided in Lithuanian language, so we need a translation. So what are the financial amounts? It is up to 100,000 for the minority co-production. If the project involves, I have pointed out, at least one Lithuanian film editor, sound director, costume designer, main actor, senior animation artist or senior animation frame artist, or up to 200,000 if project involves, as we say, at least one co-author for a film. This is a director, script writer, director of photography, production designer, composer, director of animation, or senior animation character artist.
That is indeed a very interesting feature of the Lithuanian Film Center that makes this distinction between these two levels of creative contribution participation.
Yeah, the producers, you know, coming with the application, they see according to the contacts of the partners they find, and they agree, you know, on the Lithuanian, like how they position the Lithuanians' involvement in the project when they are coming with an application. So what I mentioned just in brief for your also understanding how the Lithuanian film tax incentive work, which is, as I mentioned, administrated by the Lithuanian Film Center. The incentive came into effect in January 2014, so it's already for 10 years by the end of this year. And this is like a policy measure to foster local and foreign film production in Lithuania. The incentive offered an opportunity to save money on film production budget through a private investment scheme. The main elements to mention there that you can save coming and shooting film in Lithuania up to 30% of Lithuanian part production budget. And this is available to produce feature films, TV dramas, documentaries, and animated films, including domestically produced, co-produced, or service-based films. The annual cap, according to the scheme adopted by the European Commission, is up to 50 million. But this is like a more theoretical scheme. We haven't used still up to that capacity. And we have no deadline. It is running all the year long. How it works? Foreign filmmaker, he cooperates with one of the local production companies that submits an application. The local company takes the responsibility of finding a local business company which is willing to support up to 30% of your production budget in exchange for reduced corporate income tax via like managing within the financial accounting later on. And the projects must follow the cultural criteria. We must follow at least 2 criteria, but these are quite common. Like European story, the European values. So it's more technical, or we could say even this scheme it's more automatic scheme, you know, to get that tax incentive. You wanted to ask something?
No, I'm curious how you go about finding these local businesses and how easy it is, and how, if there's already a pool of them already formed.
Yes, actually it's very, one thing to mention, it's really producer friendly. So it's very quick, very easy to run this scheme. And it's also makes sense for the businesses because they win almost 12% of what they would have to pay for the tax office. So let's say if they give me 100K for the film, it means that they had to pay 112,000 to tax office. So they keep those 12,000 for themselves. Okay. And the bigger amount, the more profit the more for them. Benefit, yeah. And there is a big pool of businesses. Usually they even contact us asking if there's someone who needs money. And we were like, yeah, okay. So it's really working well. And it works in favor because the regulations are really, as I said, producer friendly, and we even use it for short films.
Yeah, so it's already running almost like 10 years, so it's already had its test and it's working very efficiently.
Absolutely.
Good.
Yeah, so just several requirements to use the tax incentive. The total amount eligible to spend in Lithuania must be no less than 43,000 euros. At least 3 days of shooting to take place in Lithuania. At least 51% of the crew hired must be a Lithuanian production company, specialists hired from European or European Economic Area countries. And at least of 20% of animated films production costs in Lithuania must be accrued for producing 2 of the elements: shooting of the characters or visual effects. So the numbers in total in 2022, so these are the last year, the recent results we have. The film productions received almost 18 million euros from private investments. And with the distribution of this amount was the service-based projects, the projects coming only for shooting in Lithuania used 10.5 million, almost 2 million were co-productions, and national projects received almost 5.5 million. And what kind of films these were? So 63 were national films, 9 co-productions, and 13 service-based film projects. So we also calculated the total spend in Lithuania for 2022. So using the tax incentive, the total spend reached almost 60 million euros. And you see also the numbers for the recent 10 years, what I mentioned, since it is already when it was introduced. So it reached almost 261 million. So this was like a general information what we are doing, what we finance, the tax incentive we have, and if someone is interested, there are the contacts, the colleagues to contact. Also mine and the colleagues working with film tax incentive and film development and production support.
Great, thank you. And the tax incentive can be used in combination with the selective funding, what you are going to tell about that, I'm sure. Thank you very much, Laimonas. So maybe off to Athena.
Hello everybody. Laimonas and I have met the last 2 years in various occasions around Europe with IFAD. And we were trying to find an opportunity because we were feeling that we are, the same, that there was a similarity between the two countries. And before we even tried, the Thessaloniki International Film Festival has organized this focus. Thank you, Angeliki, for that. Thank you, the festival. So here we are now, hoping that we are going to open the door, as Laimonas just said. Few words about what we are doing in the Greek Film Center about these things. Generally speaking, we have a variety of opportunities for funding, for short films, debut feature film, main feature film, micro budget, completed film, and minority co-production, and funding for writing and development. Within this, we have for development and production during 2023, we have supported one way or another 78 projects, right? You can see the various categories and how the money was spent. And let's focus on what we are doing about co-productions. As you can see, we have spent almost more than 465,000, and being co-producing with Canada, Cyprus, Italy, Latvia, Poland, and Serbia.
That is in 2023 only,
yes?
Okay.
Yes, that's we are focusing on what is the status now.
And so it's pretty comparable also with Lithuania.
Yes, that's why
that's
why we have chosen. Thank you, Zoe, for pointing this out. Zoe is our director, a new director of production and development. Pointing this out shows that we are moving also from one direction to the other. We were more centered, let's say, in our co-production. France and and Germany were the places where we usually have our have. But now we're moving closer to, let's say, to the area or to countries that are more similar to our capacity. Let's see what has been done as an overall of funding. We have 9 narrative filmmakers supported to complete their script. For the first draft, it's almost 53,000 euros. 8 documentary filmmakers. You see that we have a balance between those two as far as the number of filmmakers are supported, but of course the numbers in euros is different. It's 32,000 for a documentary. 8 projects supported with development funding, up to 80,000, and 8 feature films supported at the complete stage with something more than 300,000, and a total of 2,816,800 euros have been allocated towards all the above as a total. Okay, this is our capacity now, our funding capacity. So let's see what we are doing with co-production. During a bigger period, we include them almost, this is the pandemic years, let's say, from 2021 to 2023, which is at the same time a boost period, let's say, for co-production. We have 34 feature-length films that have been supported. Half of them were Greek minority co-productions, and 6 feature-length documentaries that was 1 Greek minority co-production. So again, we can see that different ways of expression open up more or less to the co-production. The total is more than 5,500,000. And you see now a variety of countries. Let me read them because I don't remember all. It's Albania, Bulgaria, Cyprus, Denmark, Estonia, France, Germany, Italy, Latvia, the Netherlands, Norway, Poland, Serbia, and the UK. It's the 3 last years. So, of course, there's more than space for Lithuania in this one. Eh? And the eligibility, I think in the spirit we are quite close to what we have already had from Lithuania. The productions, the co-productions are more than welcomed and encouraged across all the programs. Only producers who are either based in Greece or in a European country with a legal branch in Greece are eligible. And there are 2 submission periods per year, with the results announced 4 months after submission closes. The minority co-production program, we have a max of 100,000 euros that are offered per project in exchange for a profit share of the film, or a max of 30,000 if we are asked for a grant with no share in the film. We have ratified the revised convention of the Council of Europe on cinematographic co-production 2022, which helps a lot things to move quicker. And we have bilateral co-production agreements with Canada, France, Israel. It's in the final stage of ratification, China. Okay. Of course, we have co-production. We are not closing the door in co-producing with countries outside the EU, but things are a little bit more difficult. And I think we have it from the same point of view. We need at least 3 times the spend of what we give to be spent in our country. If we are addressing now on a hands-on basis to the producers that would like to get into the minority co-production program, what we need is a minimum of 50% of financing for the total budget of the film to be secured. And also the project must have secured at least a fund from by a state funding body and or by a TV broadcaster. Because the last one also facilitates a lot of things with documentaries and stuff like that. And who knows, it's a window in the future for series as well. And what we really, we're going to discuss about this in general, but the philosophy behind what we need in co-production is that we need the participation of Greek contributors, creative and technical, the co-production share of the Greek producer, and the potential both in an artistic and a commercial level, and also to have a secure funding, because we don't want to put anybody at risk to accept something that doesn't look that is secure.
It's going to happen.
Yes, and of course we need also to secure that in a timeline. So we need it's money secured, and the timeline are very important for us. So based on this philosophy, let's say, we had the opportunity this year to start a couple of months ago. We have started 5 new funding programs, quite similar to the philosophy of those that we have already discussed by the support of the RRF, and we are very happy because this gives us the opportunity to introduce more money in the market, and we want to share this with the co-producers that would like to come to Greece. We see as the areas where we call it the micro budget short, which is a funding up to 25,000 for each short film, and it's almost for 800,000 euros. The micro budget plus, which is for feature films, up to 70,000, and here we have allocated. We intend to allocate 1 million euros. Development, which is in all stages, up to 400,000. And we come to the 2 that seem to be very interesting and very innovative. It's the co-production window. The funding is up to 150,000, and we take no share into that. Okay, this is, I think, very attractive, and this makes also our relationship very clear, because what we ask for whoever co-produces with that within the schemes is to finish the project by the 31st of December of 2025. So we have to facilitate things so that the co-producers and the producers can run as quickly as the program demands. And then the last part, which is, I think, are more artistic and more ambitious of all, but the results up to now from the first period seem that it has been really attractive to producers, is The Future is Here, which actually it's a double program, let's say. It's the other realities that supports the production of original short projects using new technologies with the funding up to 15,000, which is the opening to VR, to XR, to whatever. It's the immersive at this point or within this framework till 2025. And the other is our opening to the series, which is the opportunity we give to people, to producers, to develop a series for platforms or for whatever we're going to have within these 2 years. Let's not limit the technology. And this one really works with the idea of having support or having the intention of support from co-producers coming from abroad or from a broadcaster, with a total budget in the development something less than 600,000. So these are the opportunities. I'm just going to say, I've said that quickly, you can find them in our website, but most importantly, while we are here, we are running a program which is called Meet the Greek Film Center, and you can go through the event, how we call this? The event, the platform of the festival offers, and you can have an appointment with our experts in the subject within these days, and they're going to explain to you everything in detail and not just presenting the rules, the overall rules. Apart from that, to support how open we are in co-production, we are part of the C Cinema Network. C stands for Southeastern Europe. This is a network that has been created with the initiative of Greece back in the previous century, at 1998, 1999, and it's still here. It has been, it's getting into a new phase the last 2 years. It's run on the basis of administration by Greece and by Greek Film Center for the development of international co-productions and the production of short films within the area. And of course, we are part of Creative Europe Media and Erimage. So we support everything that has the ambition to be part of these programs. Thank you.
Thank you, Athena. So a lot of similarities in terms of both funds are comparable in terms of size and in terms of principles in going into selection. Marija, I'm eager to pass the mic to you so that you can walk us through some of your hands-on experience working with the Lithuanian Film Center.
Thank you. May I have this one?
Yes, you can.
I think it goes this way. So basically, my name is Marija Razgutė. I have my own film production company, M Films. And I think why I'm here today, because co-production was in our DNA since we started. We started with a short film, so we even co-produced short films. And now we are one of the several most active companies in the country doing international co-productions. So maybe what Laimonas said and also what Athena said about co-productions, how it works, I will try to show a couple of examples what we did recently. One of the major projects we co-produced, also one of minorities we co-produced, how the co-production structure looked like and how we shared the work, the work split, and how successful the films were. So maybe I will start with Slow, which you can see the still of the film. Slow is a film by Marija Kaftaradze. It's a second-time director. We worked with her with her debut film as well. Back in 2018, Slow was premiered in Sundance. It also won Best Director Award. Which the thing I really love about this film, that it's a romantic drama, which is not so common in the eastern part of the Europe. We always do very sad dramas, which I did a lot in the past. So doing a romantic drama, it was amazing experience. The film is also now in the feature film selection in EFA. It's also Lithuanian contender for Oscars. So it was a great experience. We started developing the film back in 2019. We did Venice Meets West for a co-production at first, then we did the Berlinale co-production market. And bit by bit, we started building the interest and some partners. Oops, wrong side, one more time. So finally, we ended up a 3-country co-production, Lithuania, Spain, and Sweden, with a total budget of 1.1, us being the major with 75, and then Spain and Sweden was very equal parts.
And Lithuania was the first country to step in. Lithuanian Film Center was the first to step in.
Of course.
And build a co-production on it.
Yes. So we financed the film in Lithuania, like Laimonas said, with because it was a second-time film, we could aim for the bigger amount. We also had Slate development from media. This was one of our projects from Slate. So we had media support, we had national broadcaster, Lithuanian Film Center, and also the tax incentives. So with the tax incentives, we managed to do the final gap financing, which really saved us. And then Sweden and Spain, a lot of people asked us, like, why Sweden, why Spain? What kind of strange structure is that? So I think what I will also show how we split the work, if you can see. So basically, the story of the film is very straightforward. It's a relationship drama. A girl meets a guy. They have immediate. They fall for each other and they try to build a relationship. But then the guy quickly says to her that he's asexual. So they really like each other. They want to be together, and they decide to start this relationship and find a way to be intimate, but in a very different way than it's usually for many other couples. And we follow the journey of this relationship from beginning till the end. And I think the story is very universal. Any kind of country any kind of audience from any kind of country can relate to that story and to those characters. So we were thinking, okay, the script is not tied to any kind of country or identities, and the main actress, the main character, sorry, she's a dancer. So we needed, there was a lot of movement and dance in the film, we needed a choreographer. So we were thinking, okay, Sweden is really great for contemporary dance, they have great choreographers, shall we go to Sweden? And we have a great partner in Sweden, so we teamed up with her. She really put us in touch with the best choreographers. Then we thought maybe we need a composer from Sweden, because then they can collaborate, choreographer and the composer. That's how we built the relationship with Sweden. And we were shooting on 16 millimeters, so Sweden also served us with a lab, because we don't have a lab in Lithuania anymore. And then we were looking, okay, we need an editor, we need a sound designer, and because I work with Spain a lot, it's our 3rd co-production, now we are working on a 4th one, so Spain was very natural for me because of what I did in the past already with them. So my Spanish partner also was really happy to join, and it was as I said, we were so happy to do a romantic film. We were 3 female producers doing a romantic film, so it was really a great journey for all of us. We really enjoyed it.
So if I may jump in, so basically, aside from the fact that there's nothing inherently Spanish or Swedish in the story is very much universal, but either your very natural bonds with Spain in one case, or a very organic, compelling collaboration in the case of a choreographer in Sweden makes these films very much Swedish and Spanish as well, you know.
Absolutely. So on the script level, there was nothing that would be Swedish or Spanish, but on the development and production level, it has so much Swedish and Spanish elements in the end. We have, because the main character is a dancer, there's a group of dancers, so there are a lot of Spanish dancers in the film. So finally, there is like lots of elements from Spain and Sweden, but we attracted them just because we shared passion for the story, but not for some kind of national identities at the first place.
And if I may, at just this moment, just open up a little bit this point here. I mean, in terms of what what the funds are looking for in terms of where you're putting the emphasis when you're selecting the projects. Would you say you favor quality of the project and artistic collaboration over the more financial aspects of the co-production? Would you say that, Laimonas?
Yeah, if I could start and to tell, that yes, even when the applications are coming, for financing to the Lithuanian Film Center, the main criteria are very artistic and good quality projects. The rest, it's coming like an added value. Of course, for every film, the additional financing is so much relevant, and it's important. Also, probably some competences you need. And there's some specialists for different part, within a film, they can contribute and make your project better. So, but the decision is taken, on a good quality film, on a good quality story, the natural, probably, also the relations the producers have, and the trust, what we've been discussing, the trust of co-production colleague partners within a project.
No?
For us, I would say it's similar, but I would put it under a different name. I would call it that we're looking for sustainability in the project, which means that everything is organically connected. It's not me that reads, of course, and makes a decision, but the people who make the decision for us are readers or whoever is making the decision at every time. They are encouraged to see what makes sense. And when we say about sustainability, we're not only referring to money. It's not only the money there. Much more importantly is to see that there are bonds. And the bonds are in the story, are in the artistic quality, are in the background of those who participate, are in the way that they express themselves through the text that show the intentions of the director, of the producers, if this makes sense. And makes sense in a sustainable way that shows that these people, they come from different cultures, they come from different origins, but they know that they're going to make it. That's the important thing. Of course, it's the 50% for both of us of the funding that should be secured. Yes, it's also to make the producers feel secure when they take that step. But this leap of faith, because every co-production is a challenge, okay, this leap of faith is based for us on the idea that we are seeing something good happening from the chaos.
Thank you. Marija.
Yes, so maybe one more example. That was minority co-production for us. It was filmed by Juanjo Giménez. It is his officially debut film, but as he makes a joke, this is his second debut film, because he had, like 20 years ago, he had a feature-length film. Then he kind of quit. He was teaching at the university, and then he decided to come back to the directing, and he made a second debut film. So after having a short film before that, which was very successful, he won short film competition in Cannes. He got EFA award, and then he was nominated for Oscars. The film was Time Code. So it really built him like a new way to film directing. And Out of Sync was structured as Spanish, Lithuanian, French co-production. The structure at first was slightly different. Lithuania was at 10% and France was at 20%, but later with some nuances we had to restructure, and France only stayed as a financial partner with a financial participation with no creative input, and we had to restructure also the Eurimage support, and Lithuania became the second partner in the...
Was that broadcaster in France?
Yes, that was a broadcaster, Canal Plus. So this was my second collaboration with Spain, and I think what also, it was a very long financing journey with this film, but I'm super happy that we finally made the ways to build it, and it was not such a low budget. especially for us. So it was really a great learning curve for me as a co-producer, and we had to go through all the COVID things with that project, shooting at the worst time ever in 2020, and so on and so forth. But the film premiered in Giornate degli Autori in Toronto, so it had in the end a very nice distribution, and it had some Goya awards. I can't remember which sections, but it was really, really nice release in Spain.
So in this case, were you approached by the delegate producer, the Spanish producer? Were you the first one to be approached?
We were working with Luisa Romeo from Frida Films. She's based in Galicia, but this was also a co-production in Spain, because there were two companies, one in Galicia, the other in Catalonia. So they were co-producing inside Spain. It was two regional funds, it was national fund, it was two regional broadcasters, etc., etc. And because we worked together in the past with Luisa, and because I knew the director from his short films, and suddenly they teamed up, and I knew both of them, so for us it was very natural to team up again. And it was a really, really nice experience, and now I'm co-producing his next film as well. So it's, I think that's what we call sustainability as well, that you find partners which you really some kind of share common values and common workflow. And then it really helps you to plan your editorial line, to see what kind of projects you want to do, and super happy with it.
And you mentioned that the structure changed a little bit. I mean, did you approach the Lithuanian Laimonas with a different plan, and then kind of went back and said, look, the plan has changed?
Yes, but of course it changed in favor of Lithuania, so I had to say, now we have more.
It was an easy talk then.
It was not so easy because we were pretty advanced in the project. But what's also good, that we're a very small country, so the Film Fund and the producers have a very close relationship. For us, it's very easy to go to the Film Fund and say, hey, look, we have this problem, we need to restructure, we need to change that. Okay. Can you check this? Can you do that? What do you think about that? So we are always on a very close communication. The same goes for the Film Fund. If they have any doubts or questions, they want to change something in the regulations, they always come to the Producers Association, and we share a lot of... So I think it's also very good because when we're small, we have to be working together. We have to share the same vision, and for now, I think it really works.
Great. And the regulations of the fund allow for this kind of flexibility for the producer to come back to you and say, look, we applied, we submitted the project in this kind of constellation, but now this looks different. Can we adapt?
Yes, probably these are the small, what to say, technical things, especially when it comes to, let's say, the bigger budget of a project, or we had, let's say, sometimes the projects we have an opportunity, in terms of co-productions, let's say, for shooting in Lithuania and using the tax incentive there. So these are like an additional possibilities apart from the decision, the initial decision on co-production financing. It was. So if it runs, according to the convention, to the provisions, you need to have a proportion, so we don't see the problem there.
I can continue with the films, or we can...
How are we doing with time? I mean, we did start a little bit late, and we would like at some point to open this up to receive questions from you, if there are any. The time is now. The time is now. Let's do that then. Let's open up. So, are there questions from the audience?
Well, so what was the biggest production like that was in Lithuania, like the big production project that you had in Lithuania in recent years?
In terms of the budget?
Of the budget, yes.
I think it was the film Vesper. It was the budget of 5 million. And that was also the co-production. If I remember correctly, it was the Lithuanian majority, co-production with Belgians. I don't remember. Belgians, France, yes. So the biggest project was 5 million.
Okay.
And they had substantial financing of more than 1 million from Lithuanian Film Center. And that was an example of a big budget film.
May I ask something about that? How many million people you are in Lithuania?
It's 2.8.
Good. And how much did you give in one specific film without going out of the regulations? Can you repeat how much was in that film?
You mean the biggest?
Yes.
It was more than 1 million.
Okay, thank you.
You wanted to hear that, yes?
Not me.
Okay. Any more questions?
It was needed to be heard.
To be heard. Any other question?
And about the education in film studies, do you have like a public university which is about filmmaking?
Yes, we we have an academy, which we have a bachelor and a master classes, and they prepare like the people graduate of getting a film director.
And are these films that the university students make funded by the government or something like that? Is there like some of the money that you told are going to the education?
I can add that we also have that specific like financial support. We have an agreement with Theatre, Music and Film Academy. At the Lithuanian Film Center, we give 5,000 euros for a final work for the graduate work of the student. So now I know that next year we'll have 16 graduates for the bachelor and master. So I'm already, calculating the needs of my budget to be provided to
Thinking
to
to
academy.
relocate? Thinking to relocate?
Yeah.
Because don't
Okay.
expect us to get a budget
the brain
like
drain has
that for
started.
you
The brain
guys.
drain has started already. Okay. Any other questions? Marcus?
How many applications you receive to support financially future films per year?
I can tell the total number. During the autumn call, we received more than 100 applications of different kinds. For all the categories I mentioned. When it comes to a feature, let's see, a full feature, documentaries, and there was it's approximately maybe half of that, because we also support the short films. So just for understanding, we in that during the bigger call, we received more than 100 applications.
Yes, Katarina?
Yes, hey. I have two questions. One is probably because I didn't pay enough attention, but as we heard in the Greek fund, there are certain conditions that make the subsidy recoupable and not recoupable. Could you maybe elaborate how it works with the Lithuanian Film Center? Do I have to give my profits back if I make the money? And then the second part of the question, you mentioned the two tiers of the minority co-productions, the 100 and 200K. I was wondering if they are in the same sub-program. In other words, are they competing for the same amount of money in that particular call?
The first question, no, we don't ask for any money to be brought back. And the second one is, during our call, we are collecting all the applications, and we are running, the expert committee's assessment to collect the points. And after having that, we made a decision on on the points the project's applications receive. I don't know if Marija, if you could add something. As Marija, she's also working, as an expert in one of the committees.
I work as an expert when I don't have my projects, of course. But To answer your question, yes, basically these compete between each other. But for example, if you come with 100K and the application is brilliant and the elements that you bring, you might be higher in the point system than the one that applies for 200K and has, but if as Athena says, if it's not a sustainable project and you see that it just doesn't work, even though they have a DOP, for example, but it's just, you can see it's not in the core of the project, so you may get a 100K and the other may not get 200K and vice versa.
Dries?
Yeah, I just had maybe it's more technical question. In Greece, as far as I know, for minority co-production, you can enter a script in English, if I'm not mistaken, as in Lithuanian, you need a translation in Lithuanian. Is there a reason for that? Because in the end, you can ask for support of 100,000. Honestly, to be able to pay 2,000-3,000 for a translation of a script is quite an effort to make.
Yeah, I can comment shortly on that. As I mentioned from the very beginning, we as a state public administration institution, and we have our law on the national language, and we must follow that. But the documents, when it comes to financing, you must have it in your national language. So we made the changes. We do not ask for any an authorized and official translations by some specific persons. You can just provide it for the experts to have a material for them to understand and easy reading in Lithuanian, just because of these reasons.
And we also ask the same question as Producers Association, that maybe there can be an exception. And I really hope we will reach that point when we'll have an exception for that rule. But our language law is very strict, and it was built back in the beginning of our independence to protect us from specific neighbors and specific languages, but now it doesn't work in the favor of the producers who come with the English scripts. So I hope it will be changed.
And I totally understand. We still have the same in Belgium. So for the Flemish Audiovisual Fund, we need to have a Dutch translation. And I think Greece is an exception on that. You accept English language or script in English.
In the minority co-production scheme, it is allowed, but in the new scheme, it is an obligation as well to have a translation now, the parallel that Athena.
Because this is funded by RRF, so they need to have access to all documents that are, and because nobody else threatens Greek language, in the territory.
Okay, so we're steeply have arrived. I wanted to say arriving, but we have arrived at the end of this conversation. I mean, I wanted maybe a very quick closing question before we wrap this up. I mean, it's very clear to me that the merits of minority co-productions, of co-productions in general, are clearly assimilated and embraced by both funds. What are your thoughts or your wishes for the minority schemes, for the co-production schemes, for the future, like 5 years down from now?
Going back 20 years or 25 years ago, when Europe through media was pushing us somehow to go to the direction of co-production, I think most of you are younger than that, of course. But some of you might remember the kind of European puddings that we have been served in the cinemas that didn't make sense, that they were somehow forced marriages of narratives and stuff like that. The stage we are now is far away from that. The co-productions are real. They're funded on a new generation of producers, of a new generation of funds, of producers who are creative producers, who are working along with the talent, and for funds that want the national talent to become stronger within the international and the European market. So within 5 years, what I see is that we might find new funds, new schemes, that we will not even talk about minority at that future. We might talk anyhow about co-production and It's not only the financial reasons for that, it's basically what we have been discussing preparing that, because we spend time together, all of us. Basically, what we strongly believe at is the cultural aspect of the whole thing. We are here as fans to support something that the market on its own, it's not going to be ready to support. We're here to support the culture that we share as countries within the European environment. So I'm sure that the way to express that through film is the co-production.
Nicely said.
You know, there's
you-
nothing to
can you
add,
top
you know,
it
to what Athena said. Yeah, we've been discussing that, and I would say, you know, that the expectation probably to have, you know, the increase in that kind of cooperation, and it comes very naturally, you know, from all, even the European financial, you know, possibilities where, you know, everyone is encouraged to look for partners for cooperation, and it comes naturally, you know, for all of us, probably, you know, sharing the European values, the stories which are universal, and, you know, the colleagues which can, you know, benefit one to each other, you know, bringing the good practices and, you know, finding the new ways probably of even making the films. So these are only the positive things, you know, you can have around it.
Marija?
Well, I can just say how I started my talk today, that co-productions were in our company DNA since we started. So it was in our past, it's in our present, and I believe it will be in the future. So we are small, and for us it's the only way to make sure that we have this ecosystem of talents that I'm not able, for example, to find in Lithuania for a specific film and for a specific position. So we need to co-produce. It's the way to do great films. So, yeah, more and more co-productions, please.
More is more.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Athena.